Yeah.
Okay. Looking at my screen, and I'm in awe with the collective expertise gathered here. We are deeply honored to welcome you all. A very cheerful afternoon to our educator, our faculty coordinator, and dear participants. I'm Shraddha Bajpai, the student coordinator of National Debate Competition 2010. Here's a big welcome to Ms. Archana Nair ma'am. Ma'am is graduated from Government Law College, Mumbai in 2019. She is a manager with ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Corporation Limited, where she works in the legal team. While at GLC, she serves as the Joint General Secretary of the Legal Aid Committee, and she has received Best Legal Aid Worker award for her immense hard work towards the society. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shraddha, for the introduction.
Thank
Uh,
you for joining.
Thank you, Deepa ma'am, for having me as the adjudicator. I'm very honored to be a part of such national level competition. I would like the participants to introduce themselves. Deb 21,
Yes, ma'am. My team code is Deb21 and my name is Harsh Dugar.
Deb 32. Please
Ma'am,
introduce
yes, ma'am.
yourself.
My name is Deb. My name is Priya Singh.
Okay. So we can go ahead with the debate. I think the Deb 21 will be speaking for the topic, and Deb 32 will be speaking against the topic. Deb 21, the floor is yours.
Yes, ma'am. Initially, I would like to say that I support the motion, which is free testing of COVID-19 justified in India. Yes, it definitely is. Firstly, because when we look at it through the legal aspect, if free testing is denied to the Indian citizens, it strikes at the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. And Article 14 of the Indian Constitution talks about equality before law, which means that there will be no special privilege for any particular person. It also implies that the law will not look who's standing in the dock, be it either poor or rich. And in India, where the poor makes the nation, if free testing is justified, it basically means that the largest section of the people don't get the opportunity to get themselves tested for COVID-19. And let me here give you a statistics which says that the daily wage rate of an Indian person is rupees 274, and the testing of COVID-19 is being priced at 3,500 in private labs. That is like exorbitant amount for the poor, obviously. And we have a statistic here from we have statistic here from Dr. Partha Sarthi, who has a PhD in microvirology. He says that it costs only 700 rupees to get the testing done for a COVID-19 patient. And what we look at here, the 3,500 is the expenses which the labs are trying to recover due to the pandemic. Like in normal days, they get more profits, obviously, because people come for their regular checkups. But right now, since they are facing losses, they're trying to cover it up through the COVID-19 patients, which is completely unfair. Like, this is a pandemic going on, and every other person is facing a loss here. So the private labs should only look at covering up their COVID-19 costs, which is around 700 rupees. And that government has already told that they'll provide a medical insurance of 500 billion year. And that is a huge amount, and that should be used here for the free testing of the COVID-19 patients. And also, let me remind you that the Honorable Prime Minister Modi started a fund called as PM CARES Fund. If that fund is not being used right now for the pandemic, I don't know why he's collecting all these funds, because as the saying goes, that the wealth of a nation is determined by the health of the nation. I think the PM CARES Fund should be used right here, because India has a major force right now to come back as a great economy. Like, when we look at countries like the UK or the US, they are in a much vulnerable position right now. So if India uses this as an opportunity to come back as a major force, India will be the largest power in the entire world right now, which is being spoke by many economists right now. And also, let me tell you that if we want to contain this pandemic, testing is the only option, because right now we don't have any vaccine in this world. And if free testing is denied to the poor people, they'll live with the symptoms. They won't go and get tested themselves for 3,500 rupees. They'll rather not come out. And if we want this pandemic to get over in our nation, we want people to come out. And hence, free testing of COVID-19 is very necessary for a country like India, where the poor makes the nation. I rest my case here.
Thank you, Deb 21. Deb 32, the floor is yours.
I start with the topic that is free testing for coronavirus is justified or not? From my side, it is not justified for this point of time. I have reasons for this, why I said directly that this is not justified. There are reasons. The first is that we have 1.38 billion population, and we already, prior this coronavirus, we suffered from economic slowdown as well. So how we are able to deal with such kind of pre-testing with huge, we know that this kind of kits are very expensive. Okay, that government suffers. Government said, okay, we are able to handle all the cases, we are able to handle all the expensive of the kits. But is it possible? As I am the student of fourth year, I am very worried about my future, that what will the next thing. I gave you the many examples. Because of this economic slowdown, they give up the placements, the internships. The very famous example of Arista, engineering students, many IIT students, they just said, I want to lay off you. And I never discard this thing, that this is possible. This is possible. Many countries do such kind of miracle. Like South Korea is a very famous example. We already talk about that we have to adopt a South Korea example and all. But just think about South Korea, Israel, Iceland, Singapore. They already a very developed country. If we go through the indexes, happiness index, corruption index, we already found they are in the top. They always in the best countries. So that's why they have very less population. They have very good coordination between public private partnership. So are they able to tackle it with each and everything? But we are, as of now, we are not. Example, Supreme Court decision came, private industries directly came out, okay, this is not possible, this is not justified. And at the end, again, our honorable Supreme Court justified our statement, and they said rich and poor people divide, okay, for the poor people. But how we divide the poor people? We miss the middle class again. Middle class had different layers as well: upper middle class, lower middle class, and our middle class. What about the lower middle class? They are not able to suffer, they are not able to handle this they're expensive as well. What will for that? Last, our social stigma, the most important thing. We are not aware, we are not literate much. So what we'll do now? Suppose in your family, you find a case, we try to hide. We just said, no, don't want to do quarantine. Don't do quarantine with me. I just stay at my home. Don't go outside or something. We try to hide ourselves. But we can do one thing, which is very great. That is our interaction. We have very less interaction between rural and urban areas. And we found many cases in urban areas. So we try to just control that, this thing, that in urban areas, control the urban areas. And if we find we go for alternative, just go for this, okay, rigorous test for migrant workers, so when they go back in the rural area, they don't spread the coronavirus at all. Last, the solution is in our state, is in our country, that is Kerala model. Instead of going outside, we can adopt the Kerala model. We all know Kerala suffers from many type of viruses, but still Kerala leads with everything. Kerala has very good model. I think we have to go think about India, think about this model. I know this is also an alternative, but again, there is no fixed alternative at this time, at this moment. So this is an alternative. We have such a youth population as well. We have such a good brain. We can use it, and we try to find the other solution. At last, I would just said this thing, that before 75 years, in India said that Britisher says that we are a tribes, but still we lead. Still, we prove everyone after 75 years that we are mo-
Center.
Can you please tell me the time taken by both the speakers?
From Aman.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the DAB 37 time is 3 minutes 52 seconds, and the DAB 20 sorry ma'am, DAB 21, that is Harsh, time is 3 minutes 36 seconds, and DAB 32 time is 3 minutes 46 seconds.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
To both the speakers, I have only one point of explanation that I need. Dep 21, can you summarize your arguments in like 1 minute?
Yes, ma'am. To summarize, my major point here will be that the not if we are denying the free testing code for the Indian citizens here, we are striking at the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, which is the basic fundamental right of every citizen in India. And I don't think we need any other argument other than the legal aspect here.
Dep 32,
ma'am, according to me, it's free testing as this point of time is not justified at all, because we know that we are suffering from economic slowdown as well. So we have to think about other alternative like Kerala model. I give the example. If we go through the other examples like South Korea model and all, so I don't think so it suits on us, because we has a huge population. We have to think about this, because India shows everyone that impossible is not the word. I am possible. So we shows everyone. So it's the time we showed the other alternative. We show our youth power. We showed some other alternative. We showed the Kerala model. We can try something else, but this is not justified.
thank you. Can we move ahead with the rebuttal?
Yes,
Dep
ma'am.
21.
Yes, ma'am. Let me start with the last point which my learned speaker here spoke about, which is that the country will go through an economic slowdown, like as it used to always. Let me remind you, in 2008, the entire globe went for a global recession. But right now, India should look at this as an opportunity here, because if we are out of this global pandemic before everyone else, we can have a major restore of our economy. And also, my speaker here spoke about how can we handle such a large population, how can we handle the cost for such a large population. Let me tell you that the PM recently announced the 20,000 crore project. Why not include free testing in that 20,000 crore project? And also they have also raised this PM cash fund. Why not use all those funds for this noble cause instead of looking at the other issues right now? Because I think this is the issue which demands attention right now. And my speaker here spoke about we should reduce the interaction in urban areas. In India, where we have a population of 130 crore, I don't think that is possible right now. If we let out, we saw that in cities like Mumbai and Chennai, when they relaxed the lockdown, we saw how the cases went to a higher number. Even if we think that we'll maintain the interaction to a bare minimum, that's not possible in a country like India. And my speaker here compared our nation to nations like South Korea. And let me tell you that South Korea's population is very less. The area per square foot is very less when compared to a large nation like India. So adopting the similar measures as countries like South Korea do is completely impossible in our nation. And last, my point will be she spoke about we cannot divide between the upper middle class, lower middle class, poor, and all those strategies. That's why I'm exactly saying that it should be free for all, because in this pandemic we cannot look at the profits for the government or for private laboratories right now. All we want is to contain this pandemic so that we get used to a normal regular life, and restore our economy as soon as
बोलो
possible.
मत.
And as I told you, this is an opportunity India can use.
Dep 32, you can go ahead with your rebuttal.
it's my honor that you consider my points. And I would like, I said, you mentioned this point that South Korea. I also said the same point that this is South Korea model. We are not able to get it. This is something impossible, but we can go through for Kerala model. And why I point this economic slowdown? There is a reason for this economic slowdown, because after this pandemic, there is a life as well. How we are able to dealt with, I consider that there are many type of funds. But again, my friend, I would like to go for this corruption index. By you find out that India has on the rank of 80th. By the time itself, India increased their now positions. In India, the corruption rate increased day by day. So how we are able to deal with? And again, our doctors, our nurses, our police personnel suffer from this point as well. They suffer from harassment. They suffer from
Yeah, Priya, you can continue.
they suffer from attacks. So how we are? So if we give them the free testing, then what about them? Because we all knew that public person is not enough. Then we have to include the private, and we all knew that life of private persons, life of private people. So how we are dealt with those type of thing? How they risk their life for us only. But we can try to alternative. Is it an alternative, my friend? So we can try to something else. Why not with coronavirus and something? Why not with Kerala model? Why not with something which gives us which shows that okay, try some other alternative. We have such a youth population. I never said that this kind of population we can use as a boon. We can you be boon or ban, it's all up to us. We as a huge youth population, me, you, my friend, everyone has a very good brain. We come with other alternatives, but make our thing which suits on us. But this free testing is not justified. How you said that this infringe article 29, but I don't agree, because right to life, we can't let you that okay, uh, we left you to die. This is not happening. We just try to find out the other alternative. That's it, my friend. Thank you. I rest my case.
Can you tell me the time for? Can you tell me the time for that both the participants have taken in the rebuttal round?
Yes, ma'am, in rebuttal, the DAP 21 has taken 2 minutes 58 seconds, and DAP 32 has taken exact 3 minutes.
I
Ma'am,
have a
you
few
noted?
questions. Yes, yes. I have a few questions to
Okay.
both of you. DEP 21,
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
please explain to me as to how exactly you think Article 14 is applicable over here?
Ma'am, Article 14, as I said, it talks about equality before the law, which means that there will be no special privilege for any particular person. And by placing the amount at 3,500 year, we are seeing that obviously the poor cannot afford 3,500. They aren't able to pay even for their food here. So the rich and the upper middle class are only getting a special privilege here. If at all they are giving free testing over here, every poor, even if they have the lightest of symptoms, they'll go and get themselves tested. But then they don't get the privilege here when the prices are capped at 3,500. And that's how it's violating Article 14, because the law says it doesn't see who's rich or poor. But then right now the poor is getting affected if they are placing the prices at 3,500.
Okay. To DEP 32, my question is, can you explain to me the Kerala model that you are referring to and that you think we should be following?
I think, ma'am, we have to just like find the symptoms, find the people who have only one symptom even. So we can find out the person very easily. We can find out, we segregate the person and we try to cure that person. But if we go and find each and every person, every area, like I give you the example of Zika virus. When Zika virus spread in Kerala, so they adopt this model and they work on it. They did not go each and every home. They just try to find that person, a worker, go every home, try to just talk to every person, find that who has the person who have just one symptom, who has just a single thing, single problem. Just they take out the person, they get tested, so that they avoid the thing. Who are infected, they take out and they treat that person. And after all, we all knew that that this state lead fight with this immense virus as well, this kind of dangerous virus. And not only Zika virus, there is Nipah virus, then again swine flu. There are many kind of virus, always, we always knew. But again, this Kerala model leads, like, we all knew that.
Okay. Just one more question to you. In the COVID-19, there are people who are asymptomatic. So what do you think? How can we deal with that when you don't know about the symptoms, when you are yourself not aware about it? Then what is the solution for that if we are not testing rapidly?
Ma'am, I just want to say the awareness is a main thing. Again, it's the lesson for us. We can use the awareness word, because always the point stuck on this point that we are not aware about this. Why there are countries who who deal with such kind of a virus and they overcome it? Because we are not aware. I know that we are illiterate, but we can do. We spread the awareness, because after this coronavirus we had second life as well. You and me has a job, but if we don't have money, what is kind of life? Why we do such kind of hard work for live our life? That's it, my ma'am.
Thank you.
So Shraddha, can we proceed with the session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now I request our faculty coordinator, Mrs. Deepa Srivastava ma'am, who is an assistant professor at CIMR Department of Law and has a working experience in law academics from past 10 years, to present the vote of thanks to our adjudicator. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shraddha. So good afternoon, my adjudicator ma'am, participants and OC members. So it is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion of preliminary rounds of national debate competition. So I would like to extend my gratitude towards without whom we couldn't have pulled off this event. They are like our adjudicators, our institution and the organizing committee who has worked tirelessly from day one to make today this event a reality. So I thank you everyone for taking and sparing out time to grace this occasion, and to the participants for well arguing and debating on this topic. And I thank you everyone, and stay home, stay safe, and best wishes for the next round, and may the best person wins. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
So now the participants can leave and we will continue the session with the adjudicator ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Good
you,
luck.
ma'am.
Thank you for being the part of this competition. Ma'am, recording.
Yo, yeah.